Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Mary Lynn. I'm a full-time field education trainer with the Wella Company. Today, I'm super excited to be here to talk about how we harmonize Koleston Perfect with Color Touch. I'm going to have a lovely co-host today, and her name is Nadia. And I'm super excited to be working with her today. I'm just waiting for Nadia to sign on. All right. All right. Good morning, Nadia. Good morning. How are you
Hi.
today?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. All right. Good morning, everyone. I hope everybody's had the chance to sign on to watch our exciting live today. Like I said, today we're going to be talking about Koleston Perfect and Color Touch, how we can harmonize the colors together. And for some of you who don't understand what that means, because yesterday I actually had somebody ask, basically what it means is to have that seamless color. So the beauty between using your permanent color and then your demi-permanent on mid-shaft ends. We're also going to talk about other examples, but that's kind of what we mean by harmonizing the colors together. Good morning, Nick. Thanks for joining.
Hi, Nick.
So Nadia and I have prepared a few different things for you guys. We're also going to be talking about our beautiful warm brown portfolio, our brown family, and we're going to go through that a little bit just to kind of showcase some of the beautiful colors we have for some of you who are maybe new to the Wella portfolio. Nadia, it's all yours.
Perfect. Thanks for having me, guys. So I'm Nadia Mack. I'm a field education trainer in the Ottawa area here. And today with Amal, we're going to hopefully kind of help you guys out and kind of encourage you to blend in together Koleston Perfect and Color Touch, because it can really do a lot for you. It can give you better, shinier results, more even results. And before going too far into depth, I just wanted to kind of explain the difference between the two. For those of you who are new, who haven't used our line before, we have our Koleston Perfect, which is our permanent line, with our Pure Balance technology and our Me Plus color molecule that we have. If you aren't aware, most of color lines have PPDs and PTDs as a color molecule in their line, and that's what most people seem to be allergic to when they do have an allergy reaction to a hair color. What's unique with Wella is that we've created our own color molecule called Me Plus that will help for those who may have had allergies to those other color molecules that potentially will be able to color their hair with this at least.
And that's so
Also,
awesome.
yeah, it's very cool that we have that.
Yes.
Also with Koleston Perfect, you can get 100% gray coverage. It is an ammonia-based product for that reason, to get our gray coverage. And you can also get up to 5 levels of lift with our color on virgin hair. Now for Color Touch is our permanent line. It also has a mixture of oxidative color. You have your direct dyes, your glimmer pigments, your protein fibers. So all those things make for a shinier, luminous end result all around. Now, if you don't need to do any kind of gray coverage and you're just doing a color deposit, this would be a perfect tool to utilize because it is ammonia free. You can get up to 50% gray coverage. We use it for color blending, color correction, or just an all-around color depth. It's a great tool to use for those cases, and you can mix them together. If you're doing a gray coverage and then you want to balance the ends, this is what we're going to get into to kind of give you guys some tips and ideas on when to better use the two together and why we highly encourage getting Color Touch if you only have Koleston Perfect or vice versa.
And for toning.
Yes, we can get
toning with both Koleston Perfect and Color Touch are great options.
Yeah, along with our glossing services that we have.
Absolutely.
So we'll get into details with all that. But first off, ML, why don't you go into some color tones that we're going to be
yes.
getting more, I guess, of a demand in the salon because we're getting into fall. And so brown, rich colors is where we're going to go to now.
Totally. So we wanted to talk about a little bit getting into our fall colors. Unfortunately, guys, we are going into the fall time. And a lot of us like to either freshen up our browns. Some of us like to go from lighter to darker in the fall and winter. And you know what? Right now, I feel like browns are really in. People are loving the warm browns. People are just, loving that richness. So we really wanted to kind of just talk a little bit about what Wella has to offer in those tones. And we have amazing colors in our warm brown portfolio. First, I wanted to talk about my color. And we kind of decided to use mine because, of course, I use Wella color. And obviously, I have a really kind of deep, warm brown. And I just, wanted to showcase the color for some of you, just to see what the actual color looks like on a live person, maybe not just on a mannequin. But this is what my color looks like. I have
very shiny, I must add.
Very shiny, isn't it? That's the nice thing about Color Touch too. So I do have a little bit of an old balayage kind of at the bottom. So you are seeing a little bit of those lighter pieces down there. I am naturally a level 6. So I do color my hair a level 6. What I first want to talk about is my formula with Koleston Perfect. So little tip secret, I do have a little bit of gray. So on my roots, when I'm using my Koleston Perfect, my formula would be 1/4 of my 6N, which is my natural. For that, I'm about 25% gray, so I definitely use that quarter into my formula. Okay. And then for my target shade, I really enjoy the 6-stroke 9-7, which is going to be a level 6. Cendré warm brown is what that tone is. And so then I would be mixing 3/4 of that tone into my root with my natural. For my ends, with Color Touch is where I'm using it to blend my mid shaft to my ends. I am using, because with Color Touch, we don't have a pre-mixed 6-stroke 9-7. So I am mixing equal parts of 5-9-7 and 7-9-7 Color Touch, equal parts 1-to-1. And that gives me my 6-stroke 9-7. And I am using it with the 1.9% developer. And I am putting it from mid shaft to ends for about 20 minutes. For my root, I am using 820 volume for my gray coverage, and I'm leaving it about half an hour to 35 minutes. Okay. And
I gotta say, I love those 9-7s, the series. They're beautiful and so shiny.
Yes. And so for some of you who may not have used them, but the 9-stroke 9-7 for the lighter shades too, are really, really, really beautiful. So I don't know if you guys can properly see these tones, but they have that, a little bit of that cooler tone because the cendré's first. So it's kind of neutralizing and softening that warm brown a little bit, but not too much to make it kind of ashy or flat or matte. It's actually really rich and warm. They're probably, I do have a lot of favorites, but they are one of my favorites.
Yes, they're beautiful colors.
So this is my formula. The other thing I kind of wanted to talk about is a little bit of what we offer in our brown portfolio. So, and also just to show you guys what we mean by harmonizing the colors together, right? So if you look at this one here, all right, so we're going to be dealing with our 7-stroke, which is our brown, and our stroke 7-7, I should say, which is our double brown. So if you see also at the bottom, we have our 4-7-1 or any of the 7-1s, which is our brown ash. So for the people that want that little bit more of a
cooler chocolate,
a cooler kind of chocolate, not too warm, because the other ones will definitely be warmer. The nice thing is, so this was our Koleston Perfect side, right? And so if you flip over, you can see all the beautiful shades that are offered in your Color Touch portfolio that are exactly going to be that exact same shade. So it's kind of nice because then you avoid any bands, you avoid, that discoloration between the two. You get that beautiful seamless color all the way through, and it matches perfectly, right?
And a question that we get asked a lot on this topic in particular would be, well, why wouldn't I just do 10 volume and do it on the ends? And why choose a Color Touch instead?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and do you want to answer that one?
No, go ahead, Nats.
Okay, perfect. So basically, if you've got the option to do a 10 volume and do the same color on your mid shaft and ends versus using your Color Touch with your 1.9, all you're doing is a color deposit at this point. So you don't need the ammonia to open up that cuticle. We want to try and not open up that cuticle too much so that it can better hold on to that color molecule, therefore making a longer lasting result in the end. And
Absolutely.
Also, if you follow with our post-treatment service after, you're locking it all in and you will not get any fadage. Even though it's in a demi-permanent line, does not mean it will fade. If you're doing it properly and you're using your post-treatment at the end, it will last you as long as that permanent, especially because you did not open that cuticle with that ammonia once more just for that deposit of pigment.
Yeah, and that's a really great point to add. First, hi, Laura.
Oh, hey, Laura.
So that's a really good point. And a lot of people, ask, well, why shouldn't I just use the permanent all the way through? But the nice thing is if you already brown and you just kind of want to refresh those ends, you really don't need permanent. And that's the beauty of the demi-permanent. You also, not that you won't get any shine with Koleston Perfect, because you will, but with the glimmer pigments in the Color Touch color, you are getting that really high shine, and it kind of evens out all the way through. Demi's always a little better to refresh ends, just to give you that shine. And if the hair's porous and stuff like that, it definitely plays a part in it too. So that is a really good point to bring up, Nadia.
But also our Color Touch is actually intended to be used on pre-washed damp hair. Correct. Which also a little goes a long way because that hair is now damp, therefore the spreadability is a little bit easier, a little bit better. So if you're worried for your salon usage, you're actually using less if you're going with your Color Touch on top of that damp hair to blend everything in.
Yeah, and if you are using it on dry hair, because you can, just note that if you are using Color Touch on dry hair, you may get a little bit more depth on dry hair than you would on pre-shampooed towel dry hair. So this is our warm portfolio. So I highly recommend that if you haven't looked into it or haven't used it very much and you are looking for those beautiful browns, this is definitely a really great part of our portfolio to go look at. Okay.
Also, right. I have another question here for you, Mel.
Go for it.
If I'm doing a full head of highlights and I want to do some lowlights in there because it's fall, we want to add some warmth, we want to break through that balayage we worked so hard on all summer, what are we going to use?
I have no idea. That is a really good valid point. So for some of you, again, it comes back to Color Touch, right? On porous hair, this is a really good thing to be using because you are going to get a little bit more of that nice seamless color with your permanent when you're doing highlights or lowlights again, or toning or whatever. It is a great option, but it always a little bit better when you've pre-lightened the hair to use your Color Touch for low lighting, for toning and stuff like that. It definitely pre-shampooed towel dried hair, it evens out with the porosity, so just gives you more of that seamless color. When you're using your permanent color, if you've got a lot of porosity on the ends and you're doing it on dry hair, you may get a little bit of that depth that'll build up a little bit more in those porous areas. So we recommend that if you are going to do low lights, especially on somebody who's, been blonde or balayage or whatever the case may be, low lighting or kind of filling in that color is always best to use our Color Touch portfolio.
Yeah, exactly. And even in a situation like that, if we're doing a root melt, for instance, but they have great coverage, we could use our Koleston Perfect at the root for great coverage. And then we can go and blend in the ends with our Color Touch because of all that over highlighting kind of all summer long in the sun. It's just softer and nicer on the ends that way.
Totally. Absolutely. I agree. And also, like Nadia was mentioning earlier, we have our, the post-treatment. So if you wanted something where your hair's dehydrated, you've been, lightening it all summer and you wanted to be super, super blonde for the summer, but now kind of wanting to tame it down. If you did our post-treatment, you could do 1 part color to 1 part developer to 1 part post-color service. And that's kind of nice because it will deposit tone. It will also kind of, even out that porosity. It'll dilute it a little bit so that if the hair is really, really porous, you're kind of avoiding any,
over deposit
color that might kind of be a little bit uneven. And it's going to hydrate. So it's going to do a lot of things for your hair all in one service. So it's a really good option as well. Okay. So the other thing Nadia and I wanted to showcase today is I have 2 mannequins that I've pre-done that I have used Koleston Perfect and Color Touch. So just wanted to show you guys a little bit of, other than my color, kind of 2 other colors that we've done. So I'm going to start with this lovely mannequin, and I'm going to explain her formula once I show you guys. So I don't know how that is for angle and color here, Nadia. Just let me know.
Yeah, that's good.
She has a very stubborn part line. She
Gotta love those mannequins for that.
Yeah, she can't see very well, but her color is really nice. So
yeah, so what did you use here?
Show you guys that nice root and see how you can kind of, now she does have some kind of dimension in here, but you can kind of see that seamless kind of color through, right? All the way at the front here. And so what I've done here is I used our Koleston Perfect on her root, and I did it with 10 volume. And I did, I don't know if you can see that properly here.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can.
So the 5/5 stroke 4/6, which is your, in the red tones, to explain why there are two numbers prior to the stroke, it is a double pigment color. And we're going to be using here is going to be a red violet is the tone that we used. And on her ends, I wanted to, because obviously it's mannequin hair for some of you who've worked with mannequins, it's not always the most, it's pretty porous. So I used our color touch and I used this 6/6 stroke 4/5. Can you guys see that properly, Nadia?
Yeah, the number's blurry, but we can see the color. That's
okay. Good. Back up a little bit.
Yeah.
So this is a double pigment level 6, okay, with primary red and our red violet. So that's what I used on her from her root and then through the ends, and then I toned out the pre-lightened pieces that I did. So that is our red, and then
I gotta say I love those reds.
You a little biased to the reds, aren't you? This is our other one, which obviously, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a huge copper fan. I absolutely love the copper tones.
Yeah, it's so shiny. Look at that.
Right? Isn't that
so
beautiful?
What did you use on this one here?
So what I used on this one, again, I did a Koleston Perfect on the root, and then I kind of melted it into my color touch. So I used Koleston Perfect 7 stroke 4/3, which is right here. And the lovely thing is that it was perfectly harmonized on the other side. So I'm getting that seamless color from roots to ends. And then of course, if somebody wanted to do that color and they had some gray, you can put your 7 stroke 0, which is your natural, in your root formula. But I'm getting that kind of seamless color by using a 10 ball. And then I used a 1.9%, just a deposit.
Yes.
On those ones. Yeah.
And that's just bringing me to realizing that when we're doing a harmonizing like this, we want to try we still don't want to touch the two products next to each other. So a great time to do something like this is, let's say we're doing our gray coverage first. We're doing our 20 volume with your desired shade. Once that 45-minute has come up, you would wash at the sink, and then after you've washed the hair, like you pre-washed, you used your post-treatment, then you would go and apply your color touch, color balancing, whether it be your color glossing or your toning after. You can apply it then, and then let it process for the amount of time, depending on the reason why you're doing it, whether you're doing a glossing for up to 15 minutes, or if you're just doing a toner for about 5-10 minutes, or if you just want to do a in-depth color balancing, then you can go up to 20 minutes with our color touch. We really don't need any more than that when you're using color touch.
Now, one of the questions I'm seeing is, what if it's a virgin hair application?
Exactly.
That
does happen. If we have a virgin hair scenario, then we would pre-wash, towel dry her hair, and then in that case we would apply it from root to end, because it is a natural even start, I'm guessing, application, and then you just do it from root to end that way.
Totally. And the nice thing is, so now if you are, dealing with maybe some gray in there, instead of using your color touch, you can go in and then use your Koleston Perfect. This is one of the times that, you may want to use Koleston Perfect all the way through. You are kind of doing two different formulas again, especially if you have gray at the root. So you're going to want to pre-mix that root with your natural in there to cover gray. And then if it's, virgin hair where they've never colored their hair brown, you could use that Koleston Perfect at that time from roots to ends. I would just still mix one with your natural and one with just your target shade. And that way, that just gives you your, your seamless color in that virgin application situation.
Yeah, I think we've covered it all, ML.
I think so.
Do we possibly have questions in the chat?
I don't see any questions,
Okay,
but guys, feel free. If there are any questions, Nadia and I are more than happy to answer them for you. If you haven't used our portfolio and you are looking for those rich, beautiful browns, coppers, reds, whatever fall color kind of you're feeling or your client is feeling, I do recommend you give it a try. You can reach out to either one of us and we're more than happy to help out and answer some questions for you. We really, hope that you guys give it a shot.
Yeah, for sure. If you don't have any of your color touch and you only have some Koleston Perfect, go out there and get a few. Trust me, once you get your hands in there, you'll feel the difference. Your clients will notice the difference. Highly recommend trying the two together if you have the chance to.
Highly recommend it. All right, guys. Well, I don't see any further questions. Nadia, thank you for joining me today. It was really nice.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And everyone, we'll talk soon. Thanks very much for joining today. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Have a nice day. Bye.